Early sunrise is a variety of tickseed which blooms from late spring through fall, and it has multi-layered yellow blossoms which look so beautiful. So if you have seen my previous videos, by now you know that I like sustainable gardening. So I saw these flowers blooming in the neighborhood, and when they finished blooming, I collected their seeds and planted them and got these beautiful plants. So I'll show you the whole process. So here are the seeds I saved from the plants, and now it is springtime, so I'm going to plant them. So here in this planter, it has good drainage and a lot of compost, some perlite, some coco peat. So perlite gives it good drainage. Coco peat keeps the medium moist, and compost gives the nutrition. So it's a small planter. This is just to grow the saplings, and once they grow, then I'm going to plant it somewhere else. I mean, you can directly sow it wherever you want, but sometimes, in spring it can be cold, so I want to keep the planter in a warm condition. So that's why I'm planting it in a container. So here are some seeds. I'm just going to scatter some seeds here, and I always like to put more seeds than the saplings you need. So for example, if you wanted to have 10 saplings, so I would put probably like 30 seeds, because not every seed grows. So then you're waiting for 4 weeks for them to grow and become big, and there are not enough saplings. Then you have to again sow and wait. So it's better that you plant more seeds, and if you have more, either give it to your friends or family, or just thin them out. So now I'm going to just cover it with more soil. So the rule of thumb is that the um, amount of soil you put on top is should not be more than 4 times the size of the seeds. So now I'm going to water it. So water it thoroughly, because for the seeds to grow, they need two things. They need moisture, and they need warmth. So moisture you provide by watering it and just making sure that the medium stays moist. And to keep it warm, there are several things you can do. So I normally just cover it with. So if I'm going to leave it outside, then I just cover it with a tray or something. The water tray that you put at the bottom. I just cover it on top. For example, I have this tray, and at night time I'll cover the planter with this tray so that it is not cold, and in the daytime there will be sunlight coming directly, so they'll stay warm. But every day you should open it up and check to make sure, because if the seeds start to germinate, then you should not cover it with the tray, because if you leave it there, and the saplings will become leggy, and you don't want that. It's been about 1 week, and the seeds have started to germinate, and I have removed the tray now. It's been about 1.5 months, 5 to 6 weeks, that we had planted early sunrise seeds in here, and they have been growing and they've become really big now. It's almost time to transplant them, because now every plant has 3 to 4 leaves. Now this is something, it just grew from this plant. I looks like tomatillo to me. I'm not sure, as it grows we'll know, because I think I had the tomatillo planted in one of these containers, but I cannot be sure. So this also is growing in here, so I'm not going to remove this, but I want to see what plant is this. But I can now remove these and plant them somewhere else. So I have a planter here in which I have a lot of compost, some perlite and some coco peat. So compost is to give the nutrition. Most of this is compost, and some perlite for good drainage, and some coco peat to retain the moisture so that you don't have to water it very often. So I'm going to just remove a few plants from here and transplant them. I don't want to disturb that big plant. Okay, I think these are sufficient. So if you look at this, you know, this is really healthy and it has so many leaves. So I'm just going to make a hole, put it in, and just press it in. Ideally, in this bigger planter, if the plant grows properly, one plant is sufficient. But I am putting many just to, that's my insurance that if some of them die, I don't have to start again. At least one of these will survive, and that's sufficient for this big planter. So now I'm just going to water them, and I'll keep you posted as they start to grow. And because I have transplanted them and I have transplanted them in a container, so I have the luxury, I'll put it in the shade outside, because this was also outside, but it was in full sun. But this I will put in the shade because we have disturbed the roots. And so I leave it in the shade for a week, and then I will move it in the sun, because otherwise, these early sunrise, they like full sun. So about a month has passed and our plants are growing happily, and now they are at a place where they get about 4 or 5 hours of full sun and then indirect sunlight. Although it seems straightforward, I would say one thing, that if you are a beginner and you have never planted seeds before, it will be hard for you, because you have to really take care of your saplings when they are young. Uh, if you have never done this before, I mean, you have never planted any plants before, I would suggest that you just go and buy the plants from the nursery instead of trying the seeds. Once you have some experience with that, then you plant the seeds, because in the beginning, when the seeds are really young, you really have to take care of them and make sure that the soil is moist, they don't get too much sun, they don't get too much shade, etc., etc. Now the plants are about a foot tall and I can see some buds forming. So this is what happens if your plants are in full sun and you don't give them enough water. The leaf will start to turn over. That means they are thirsty. They need water. So look at these flowers now. you know I feel so good about it. I've been waiting for this, and finally they have bloomed, and there are so many more buds coming, so I'm really looking forward to these flowers on my deck whole summer long. And they're really easy to grow. I mean, once you plant the seeds, and first few weeks after they germinate, you have to take care of them, because the seedlings or the saplings, they are really tender. You have to take care of them, give them enough water and sun. But once they mature, in a month or two, then you don't have to do anything. Just make sure that they are in full sun and they get a lot of water. Because, when you plant them in a container like this, which is about 10 inches tall and about 10 inches wide, it requires a lot of water. And I have, so many of these plants in here, so I'm sure there are a lot of roots inside there. So it requires a lot of water. If I don't water it every other day, and it's like late spring right now, then all these leaves, they'll start to turn. and they start to twist kind of. So that tells me that, oh, they are thirsty. So, but if you plant them in the ground, I've seen that they don't need that much of water. And because I am in USDA zone 9, these can be perennial, meaning, they'll die in the winter time and then next spring they'll come back again. So, at the end of this season, I'm going to collect the seeds from all these flowers and I'll show you how to do it. And if so, I won't need it because I'll just leave these plants in this container itself, and in next spring I'll get flowers again. But if you live in an area where it gets really cold in winters, you collect the seeds and you sow them in the next season and you will have fresh plants, and I'll show you how to do that. So I hope this video was useful to you. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I try to answer as soon as possible. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.